Before we start today's story, I want to introduce a book that has genuinely changed millions of lives all around the world. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, this isn't just another book that teaches you about money. No, it goes much deeper. It challenges everything we thought we knew about finance, about wealth, and about our own potential. This book makes a powerful point. Schools are great at educating us for jobs, teaching us to be good employees. But they completely missed the mark when it comes to teaching us about wealth. They don't teach us how to build it, how to grow it, or how to keep it. The book reveals that your income, that big salary you might be chasing, doesn't actually make you rich. What truly makes you rich is your mindset, the way you think about money. And the best part, it's written like a story, a captivating real-life experience. It's about a boy growing up with two fathers, his real dad and his best friend's dad. He learns two completely opposite financial philosophies from them, one that leads to a life of struggle and one that leads to a life of abundance. So, get comfortable, because now we're going to step inside that story. Robert Kiyosaki grew up in the beautiful islands of Hawaii. He had a unique childhood because he had two dads who shaped his view of the world. One was his biological father, whom he calls his poor dad. This man was highly educated. With a PhD, he was hardworking, well-respected in the community, and held a prominent government job. Yet, despite his intelligence and effort, he was always broke, constantly struggling with bills and debt. Then, there was his other father figure, his best friend Mike's dad, whom he refers to as his rich dad. This man was the complete opposite. He never finished the 8th grade, but what he lacked in formal education, he more than made up for in financial intelligence. He was an entrepreneur who built businesses, made smart investments, and steadily accumulated massive wealth. So you have these two dads, two completely different worlds, two opposing mindsets. And right in the middle was a young, confused Robert, trying to figure out which path to follow. Who was right? Whose advice should he take? This internal conflict became the foundation for his entire financial journey. The turning point came one day when a 9-year-old Robert, full of curiosity, went to his poor dad and asked a simple yet profound question. "Dad, how do I become rich?" His poor dad, the educated government employee, gave him the standard advice we've all heard 1,000 times. He said, "Study hard, get good grades, and find a safe, secure job with good benefits." It was the conventional path, the safe route. But for some reason, that answer didn't sit right with Robert. It didn't explain why his own highly educated dad was still struggling. So, seeking a different perspective, he went to his rich dad and asked him the very same question. "How do I become rich?" Rich Dad stopped what he was doing, smiled, and gave an answer that would change Robert's life forever. He said, "If you want to be rich, you must learn how money works. School won't teach you that." That simple sentence was the spark. It wasn't about a job or a salary. It was about education of a different kind. That moment was the true beginning of Robert Kiyosaki's financial education, a lesson that started not in a classroom, but in the real world. To begin this education, Rich Dad offered Robert and his friend Mike a job working in one of his small convenience stores. The pay, a measly 10 cents an hour. The hours were long, the work was tedious, and for weeks, Rich Dad offered no explanation, no guidance, just the work. Robert started to feel frustrated and cheated. He felt exploited. Just as his frustration hit its peak, Rich Dad sat him down. This is where the first, and perhaps most crucial, lesson was revealed. Rich Dad finally explained his method. He said, "I wanted you to feel that frustration. Most people spend their lives working for money, driven by fear and desire. Fear of not paying bills makes them chase a paycheck. The rich, however, learn to make money work for them." He explained that the poor and middle class are trapped in a cycle. Get a job, earn a paycheck, and let fear dictate their financial decisions. But the rich don't chase paychecks. They chase opportunities. They use their knowledge, not their fear, to build systems where their money generates more money. That 10-cent lesson wasn't about the wage. It was about breaking free from the mindset of an employee. The next major breakthrough happened during another lesson. One day, Rich Dad sat the boys down and drew something incredibly simple on a piece of paper. He drew two boxes. Above the first box, he wrote the word assets. Above the second, he wrote liabilities. Then he gave them a definition so clear it cut through all the financial noise. An asset, he explained, is something that puts money into your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Simple, right? But then he delivered the most powerful line of the entire book. The poor and middle class buy liabilities that they think are assets. The rich, on the other hand, spend their lives buying real assets. Suddenly, a light bulb went on in Robert's head. The fancy car, the big house with the mortgage things his poor dad prided himself on were actually liabilities, draining his income every month. The rich don't get rich just because they earn more. They get rich because they keep more of their money and use it to buy things that generate even more money, like rental properties, stocks, or businesses. It was a complete paradigm shift. Wealth wasn't about a high salary. It was about what you did with that salary. As Robert got older, he saw these two mindsets play out in real time. His poor dad, driven by fear, valued job security above all else. He feared risk and avoided it at all costs. His entire career was built around working for security, for a pension, for a steady paycheck from a reliable employer. His rich dad, in contrast, didn't fear risk. He studied it, managed it, and understood it. He wasn't working for security. He was working for freedom, financial freedom. The freedom to choose, to live life on his own terms, not tied to a desk or a boss. Robert came to a profound realization. You can have a very high salary, be a doctor or a lawyer, and still be completely broke if your money flows out to liabilities as fast as it comes in. And conversely, you can start with a small income and eventually become incredibly wealthy. But only if you think differently. It's not about the money you make. It's about the mindset you have. That's the secret ingredient. So, when you boil it all down, the single biggest lesson from Rich Dad Poor Dad is breathtakingly simple. Your mind is your greatest asset. It has the power to build incredible wealth or to keep you in a cycle of financial struggle. And on the flip side, your fear is your biggest liability. It's the emotion that holds you back, that makes you play it safe. And that keeps you working for money instead of having money work for you. The book's message is a call to action. If you don't take the time to learn how money truly works, you will likely spend the rest of your life working for it. You'll be a slave to the paycheck. But if you educate yourself, if you learn how to identify and build assets, you can flip the script entirely. You can create a life where money works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, giving you the freedom you deserve. If you enjoyed this summary and want more financial stories, book breakdowns, and money wisdom to help you on your own journey, make sure to like this video and share it with someone who needs it. Your journey to financial freedom starts right here, right now. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to Finance Academy for more.